Lush, and I'm here at the Hub Culture Pavilion in Davos. Very pleased to be joined by Malloch, former Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, ex-Cabinet Minister in the UK. Oil price has fallen. This has had huge ramifications. Tell me a little bit about your thoughts, first of all, in South America. What does it mean?
Well, I think against the trend of discussion here, which seems to be that a lower oil price means a pickup in consumer spending and therefore it's good for the global economy. What people overlook is that some of the absolute anchors of emerging market growth are actually oil and commodity producers. So, in Latin America, Venezuela is hit hard and is at a moment of crisis and maximum instability. Political change may be just around the corner there. A country like Brazil has relied for its growth on commodity exports to China, which have now dramatically slowed as well. Go from Latin America to Africa, and Africa's biggest country, Nigeria, has had a sharper decline in its currency, the naira, than any other African country because oil has come down from $118 a barrel to $40-something a barrel. And, as a consequence, these big anchor countries, which were really holding together their regions in terms of growth and to some extent political stability, are really, the anchors are coming out. They're not holding.
We stick with Nigeria. Quite a lot of concern about terrorism as well. And interesting for me is the sort of response in Nigeria, in the one hand, to terrorism. It seems like they can't do anything about it. But on the other hand, incredibly able to deal with Ebola. How do you explain that?
Yeah. Well, Ebola, for all the drama that has surrounded it, is a quite sort of narrow intervention around a group of people who have been exposed to the infection and around hospital facilities that have been exposed to the infection. So it requires organisation, but of a very targeted kind. Dealing with a terrorist threat requires a complex of policies, improved security, but also improved development to get at the roots of the terrorism over a number of years. And the Nigerian government has proved completely, sadly, incapable on both scores. A weak security side to things and a government which is not trusted and well regarded in the north of the country is viewed as having done completely insufficient to address the social and economic roots. So it has developed into a full-blown crisis, and unhappily at the moment of national elections in Nigeria, which occur in February for a president, and Congress. So this is a very difficult time in the country.
I'm going to ask you to gaze into the crystal ball. This time last year, there were kind of emerging hopes that we might be on more firmer footing economically. Where do you think we're going to be in another year's time?
Well, I think it's a tricky year ahead because while there are bright spots, and it's more than a bright spot when the US economy starts to reassert sort of a global pull factor on economic performance across the rest of the world, but that's happening, and there are smaller bright spots like the UK. But in truth, the euro crisis is back because of the prospective Greek elections and because of structural issues that were never addressed, which had sort of compounded the weak growth in the region. And on top of that, with slowing in emerging market growth, you've got this rising tide of political instability. 4 or 5 really significant flashpoints around the world, from Ukraine to the Middle East to some smaller ones. And so, this could be a pretty bumpy 2015.
On that positive note, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for stopping by the Hub Culture Pavilion here in Davos, and I'm Edie Lush.